Super microcomputer stock, SMCI is the ticker symbol, shot up over the past couple of days. They're announcing their financial earnings, which come out, I think, in just a couple of days here, that they're seeing revenues and earnings increase somewhat. So I wanted to break things down to show you what we could expect looking at SMCI stock. Super microcomputer, of course, is in the AI sphere. That's not their main sort of push. Nonetheless, this is really kind of pulling some of the microchip companies, the semiconductors and things like this. A lot of these companies are shooting upward. IBM shot up again today, and I'm going to put a video out early next week on IBM because that's another one who they're jumping into the AI sphere and they see some opportunities there. They're starting to see some returns on their investments. But let's jump in. We'll take a look at super microcomputer stock. SMCI is the ticker symbol. Let's look at some charts. If you're just finding my channel for the first time, thanks so much. First and foremost, I'm an economist and I follow the economy and ask them the question, how's it going to apply to the stock market itself? At the same time, I'm a value investor. I don't really pay too much attention to technical analysis or anything like that. Instead, I look at the fundamentals of a stock and I ask the question, is it overvalued or undervalued, and should it go up or down? We are looking at super microcomputer stock, SMCI. Their Q2 earnings should be improved. This is a nice article out of Zacks where they broke everything down, but let's take a look at what's happened over the past couple of days. And I think it's Monday or Tuesday, SMCI stock will announce their earnings. It's been on fire, moving from 320 to 480. Is it too much? What to expect? So from a value investing standpoint, this is how I break things down. I ask the question, what's left in the tank? This is a huge move. I mean, it was 310, shoots up, almost hitting 500 in moments, basically. This is the 4-hour bar chart. Here's a daily look so you can kind of get a bigger picture going back quite some time. AI, big story, going to continue to be a big story across the board. And as I mentioned, IBM, I'm going to put a video out on IBM stock, hopefully for Monday or Tuesday. IBM stock lit up as well. But SMCI stock, super microcomputer stock, has also kind of drug a bunch of other stocks upward. I've been seeing articles when I'm looking through SOXX stock, which was the semiconductor ETF. I just did a video on them, 2 days ago or something like that. Because of what super microcomputer stock has done, shooting up like it did, it drug a lot of others that are in the AI sphere, if you will. This is the daily chart, and it goes back about a year and a half ago, pushing 2 years. And as you can see, it's a pretty sizable move. Is there more in the tank? Let's take a look at what's existing. We're looking at revenue right now, 2.12. They're expecting slightly higher for that, but this is what I really wanted to look at. 2024, their projected revenue is 11.34 billion, up from 7.12 billion. That's huge. Gross margins. Now here's when you break down this company. This is sort of the, that's it. Gross margins are 16.69%. That's pretty low. When you look at the same stocks, the same kind of stocks in that industry, these are some kind of on the lower end numbers. Gross margins 16.69. Operating margins single digits 8.41 for super microcomputer stock. And then of course net margins, not a big change there, 7.41%. This is below the S&P 500, which was printing about 11.25% last quarter. We'll see how they finish up. We are in earnings season right now, so it'll be interesting to see where that ends. Price to earnings ratio. This is a stock that, broadly speaking, trades low up until most recently. But the 25 is still pretty low from a price to earnings ratio. So part of me sits there and says, okay, traditionally this is a low number simply because, and we go back to the margins, but we're going to see outside growth because of their AI entry and the results they're getting from that. That will probably pull in a lot more investors looking for that hyper growth. But there are limitations to that. Earnings per share for the latest quarters, Q1 looking at $2.75. But this is what I really wanted to break down is the projected earnings per share for Super Microcomputers stock, $18.54. How's that break down? Right now, the U.S. Treasury yield is trading about 4.1. I think it's probably going to slide down a little bit, but we could see some lightning over the next couple days given what the Federal Reserve might do. That's your benchmark. The U.S. 10-year Treasury yield is the benchmark. All right, 4.1, 4.2, somewhere in that neighborhood. QQQ. QQQ stock, of course, is the NASDAQ ETF. 3.416%. What I did with QQQ stock myself, I look at one share for each one, that 3.416%. I take the next 4 quarters, add them up, divide it over top of the individual respective stock, and then figure out the whole yield. Where is it going to be? That's your benchmark for technology stocks. XLK is the technology sector. A lot of people will push this one up. 3.2% on XLK stock. Again, I used one share for each of those stocks in there to get I don't do the weighting. But 3.2% is a little on the rich side. We're looking at the 18.54%. SMCI stock trading again, 479, 3.864%. So it's right about where it could be, given hyper growth. And if they continue to perform like this, you could probably see the SMCI stock moving higher. 3.864% was not too low or too high. Actually, when I looked at that, I was like, well, that's still right in that ballpark. Investors are probably going to chase that. But I think at this point, at this price point, with the big move we just saw, there could be some pullback. Take the stock price and maybe we see a move back downward to say 450, 425, 400. Keep in mind the move started around 310. So we could see some pullback that will push yield higher, which means from a long-term perspective, SMCI stock, Super Microcomputer stock, would be a pretty decent value if they continue to hit that revenue growth and those earnings per share future. Given that, this stock is fairly appropriately priced right now. Any kind of dips should be considered a long-term buying opportunity. Moving forward one last time, let's take a look. I wanted to put things into perspective. This is the daily chart, Super Microcomputer stock, SMCI, ticker symbol, versus XLK. And this goes back about a year and a half on a percentage basis. The XLK stock, technology sector, the actual stock itself, up about 41% over the past, pushing 2 years, year and a half. I think it starts around August of last year, versus 792% increase. Prior to that move, it was up about 490%. And yet, there's probably still a little bit left in the tank. Should the stock drop a little bit, I think from a yield perspective, that will draw in a lot more potential investors. This could be a buy on the dip opportunity for a long-term value investment. Make sure to hit that like and follow button. I break down stocks individually from a value perspective, looking at the alternatives, the 10-year, the benchmarks, and looking at the future earnings per share, what kind of value you would get for buying any particular stock. We'll see you in the next video.